ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्युषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्यो मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम्।
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Warm welcome to you all.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Yeah, warm welcome to you all for the third semester, and I am excited to teach you this subject. Okay, so the third semester ECEB section students already knew me through the course on electronic devices and circuits, so they are aware of the things, and they also know about me very well. So for the ECA class, okay, let me introduce myself. So I am Rajagopalan, and I am going to talk about the subject. I am going to conduct the course on applied electromagnetics, and I am at Amrita since 2014 May, and previous to that I was in US and Israel, and I did my studies at IIT Delhi and Loyola College Chennai. And I'm going to talk about this applied electromagnetics. I'm going to conduct roughly about 60 hours of class. And let me give you a brief introduction. The screen, I'm hoping that you are all able to see it. And what you see here is spectrum. Spectrum will come to that. It is basically, it is ubiquitous, it is present, electromagnetic spectrum is present everywhere, and all radiations are part and parcel of this electromagnetic radiation spectrum. And you can talk the spectrum in terms of frequency or wavelength, but it all corresponds to the energy of the photon down at the level of a quantum particle, if you want to say that way. And the other screen that you see on the animations, which you must have done experiment in your high school, is the dispersion of white light through a prism. When you pass through the prism, it gets dispersed and splits into the VGR. Depending on the refractive index, the angle of deviation, refraction is more for blue compared to the red. Okay, so that you see, and also, so that is, you can see the white light comprises of several wavelengths mixed together. It's a composite color in that sense. The last one that you see here is the an oscillation which is happening at right angles. So it is an oscillating electric and magnetic field, and and the wave is propagating, and it is propagating in a direction perpendicular to these oscillations. So electromagnetic wave is nothing but the wave of oscillations comprising of electric and magnetic fields oscillating in perpendicular directions, and the direction of the propagation of the wave being perpendicular to both electric and magnetic field. So the wave simply carries the electromagnetic energy. We all use the cell phone. It is all the communication signal that you are receiving. You are receiving, basically the wave is carrying the energy, the information in the form of energy, and transmitting through the air, and you are receiving it at your cell phone antenna. Okay, so the fundamental root of this electromagnetic communication or the communication itself is basically the electromagnetic radiation or the energy that is being propagated through air in this case. So you can have the wave propagating in different directions, okay, different media, through different media and in different directions. Okay, so depending on how you set the antenna, transmitter and receiver. So, but essentially, if you want to go to the root, okay, like a tree as a root, if you want to go, everything boils down to qualitatively and quantitatively estimating electric and magnetic fields. Okay, how much energy this wave carries. So that is dependent on this electric and magnetic field, and that depends on, in turn, depends on the charge and current. So we are going to learn through this course, okay, all of these things. And let me, so the overview of this class is going to be an introduction to electromagnetics, where we see electromagnetics and what is electromagnetic and why electromagnetic. Okay, so already you have got a glimpse of why electromagnetic and what also, but we will deal little more on that. And where do we see? We see everywhere. Okay, so we'll talk about it. Then I will talk about the syllabus and course organizations for this semester. And of course, the most important thing is basically we'll talk about that, and then including attendance, everything will come to that, and evaluation pattern, because this is going to be online class. So the evaluation pattern is going to be different from the conventional semester that we have in the classroom. Okay, so that is about it. And then of course the class timetable will just tell you what are the days, and depending on the need, we will conduct more classes if necessary, of course, subject to the students' request. Okay, so everything is done at the behest of the students, and I'm willing to, plow a long way and take you through this course, and make sure that you grasp the fundamentals of electromagnetics properly. Okay. So your cooperation is very, very important for successful running of this course, and your participation. Cooperation in the sense participation, right? So where do we find electromagnetic fields? We find, you take solar radiation, which is in fact, responsible for the life. Okay, so the solar radiation consists of all kinds of wavelengths, infrared and UV. Of course, you go closer to this thing, you also get cosmic rays. So it depends on where you are. Right now on the surface of the Earth, we get IR and which causes the heat and the visible light that we are able to see. Okay, the days and nights. So that is a part of the electromagnetic spectrum. And then the lightning that you see on rainy days with the thunders, and that is also, that light is basically it's all electromagnetic radiation of very high intensity, and the communication, of course. Then you go to a dentist, you take X-ray. The X-ray is part of the electromagnetic radiation. And you go to kitchen, you microwave oven, you see it is microwave oven is also microwave is a part of electromagnetic. Electromagnetic is there everywhere. When we say God is everywhere, so is the case with electromagnetic radiation. Okay, so we believe in both. Now, before we go further on these electromagnetics, I want you to appreciate the amount of work that has gone in over several centuries, actually, starting with the 600 BC, when Thales of Miletus actually, he actually observed the first record of electric and magnetic behavior, although I'm not sure whether the words were coined that way, but that is the way it is. And 1600, you see your Earth is a giant magnet. Earth magnetic field is basically like 0.34 Gauss. Okay, 1 Gauss is equal to 10 power minus 4 Tesla. But it's a giant magnet taking into account of the size of the Earth. Okay, so the reason for that is the molten iron core that is present deep inside the Earth. Okay, in fact, yesterday I read a news. The deepest bore that has taken on the Earth is from Russia. They have been able to dig only up to like around roughly about 12 kilometers, but far below 3,000 kilometers down through the Earth, into the Earth, you see the core, surface of the core, and then the core itself. And the high temperature is there, the energy that keeps and the molten iron that is, so there must be some current, and then that current must be producing a magnetic field. That is all about it. So the Earth's magnetic field is a matter of interest and is still being researched. Okay, so then you talk about the coining of positive and negative charges, following which Charles Coulomb in 1785, he talked about the electrostatic force of attraction repulsion, which you know already. Like charges repel and unlike charges attract. And then the volta, the battery, that the units you talk about in terms of the volts, how many volts is this battery? Like we use for a pentorch, say 1.5 volt, and 3 volt in case of a transistor set, radio set, and like that, a combination of 3 volt. Okay, typically, normally it uses, depending on the size of the radio set that you are having, you need different voltage levels. And that was done by Alexandra Volta, the voltaic behavior, the electrochemical cell producing electric current. And then after, so people thought current is there. Okay, current they are able to produce. Oersted actually picked up the clue from there, and in 1820, around 1820, 1890, he said a current carrying wire producing a magnetic field. How did he detect it? So he took a compass needle close to the source that is carrying the current, and he found the compass needle deflecting in a direction perpendicular to the direction of the flow of the current. Okay, so that is an interesting observation done by Oersted. Then the next one is the Ampere. Ampere actually took clue from Oersted, and he said, what is the, suppose I bring 2 wires and carrying current in the same direction, what happens if I bring 2 wires close to each other carrying currents in the opposite direction? And then Lorentz came and he explained the direction of the force. With that Lorentz force he can explain also. And then Ohm's law, you know, V equal to IR, came in 1826. Michael Faraday, the great scientist that he was actually, he actually said, if current could produce magnetic field, why not the this one? Why not the reverse of it? So it is not the constant. See, current is a steady current that produces magnetic field. But in case of the electric field being produced by the current, the magnetic field itself, you require what is a change in magnetic field, which you know the direction of the current is given by the induced EMF is given by the Lenz law. So following which Michael Faraday's work actually found the completeness of the relationship between electric and magnetic field. So that is very, very important. So once those things parameters, until Michael Faraday, it was thought that magnetic field is a separate entity, electric field is a separate entity. So the works of the past masters is what is today that we are still learning. So that itself shows the fact that the theories have stood the test of time actually is reflective of the greatness in these men. Okay, so that is exactly what we must appreciate. And then Maxwell laid the foundation for actually he took actually the work and tried to unify them together, put the pieces together and developed a theory called the electromagnetic theory. So the father of electromagnetic theory is actually could be Maxwell, but the work preceding Maxwell is equally important for Maxwell to have put forward his theory, which is without which you could not have done anything. Okay, so that is the thing that you must understand. So Maxwell's theory was not believed by many because at that time people are debating about the nature of light, and people only understood classical mechanics until then. So light, people, there were two shades of people. One set of people talking about the light being having a wave nature. The other set of the people talking about the light having the particle nature. So these things set in motion, but Maxwell's work was the beauty of Maxwell's work lie in one single equation. I mean, if you think about that equation, that is phenomenal. I mean, you can't even, I can't imagine an equation which connects the, for example, the equation is nothing but, let me put the equation right again. So that equation is simple equation, which is the speed of the light in vacuum or air, 3 × 10⁸ meter per second, being related to 1 by square root of mu naught epsilon naught, where mu naught is the permeability of free space and epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. So think about two material constants relating to the speed of light. Light, we would have never thought light having to, the speed of the light having to relate to this. So that is phenomenal. That equation came from the work's theoretical foundation set by Maxwell. So Maxwell lived only for say 45 years or something like that till 1874, if I remember correctly. And nobody approved of that until Hertz actually came in picture. And Hertz said actually, Hertz was the first experimentalist who detected the EMS, electromagnetic waves, and that really laid the foundation, because Maxwell's work, the beauty of Maxwell's work is basically Maxwell work because it actually said clearly that light is nothing but the wave nature, and that wave and light being an electromagnetic wave. Okay, because he derived all these equations from electric and magnetic field, and this was detected by Hertz in 1887. So Maxwell did not live to see that work. That is unfortunate. But then 1901, Marconi was able to transmit and receive radio waves. Okay, so these are spectacular events that are, these were the spectacular events that have taken place in 18th century and early 19th century. Okay, so the course that we are going to learn is all about these phenomena, and we are going to appreciate that subject. Okay, so let me go further on this. The electromagnetic spectrum, we'll talk about it. The physicists talk in terms of wavelength. The engineers talk in terms of the frequency. Basically, because the physics people work with wavelengths like X-rays, which are like and visible light, infrared radiation for various purposes. And we only talk, the physicists only talk in terms of the wavelength. Okay, but the frequency and wavelength are interchangeable and related by the simple relation C equal to n lambda, where n is the frequency and or nu lambda, nu is the frequency and lambda is the wavelength. But so you can easily calculate, and you can see the spectrum over here, and you can see in the next screen magnified version of the spectrum. The communication engineer, we want to use high frequency. The reason to achieve faster data transfer rates, so as to increase the speed of communication. But is there a limitation to the way we want to, how high the frequency can be? So it is limited by the fact that if I want to use very high frequency, I have to go to a lower wavelength, which means the energy of the photon will be very high. But you know that I can't go and use that kind of wavelengths. For example, I can't use like UV. Okay, UV, constant exposure to UV, you know that what happens. Same is the case. So I can't keep on. So there is a limitation set forth by this the energy of the photon itself. And for the this one, for the case of what is that lower wavelength. Okay, when I use a lower wavelength is set by the high energy of the photon, so I can't use. But if I use higher wavelength, how high I can go? So typically in communication, you require an antenna, and the size of the antenna needs to be approximately required to be 1/10 of the wavelength. So I can't use really very large wavelength. For example, if I have to use 1 meter wavelength, then I have to go to a size of the antenna to be roughly about 10 centimeters. Okay, so think along the direction that there is a select band of frequencies which are being used. The mobile that you are using uses the earliest version used 800 megahertz. The current 5G uses roughly about 2 gigahertz. So that is the band of frequencies that we use, and the government allocates different frequencies for different. The military uses a different set of bands. So people look at a different range of frequencies. Some of the frequencies are written on the slides. So you must understand why this spectrum is allocated, so that interference and all these things, and also limited by the size of the antenna, are limited by the high energy of the photon. Okay, so it is electromagnetic theory is the one that governs the various applications that you see here, be it microwave engineering or antenna for communication, electromagnetic compatibility, quantum electronics, remote sensing, radar technology, or electrical machines, RF communication. All of these things have to, the fundamentals lay in understanding the electromagnetic theory. Therefore, you are learning this course. Okay, so the fundamental course is the applied electromagnetics that you will be learning, and the same Coulomb's law, Ampere law, Ohm's law, everything will be there, but the depth that you will be learning these things will be at a greater level than we have learned so far. So this is what the magnified version I was talking about. So here you understand from this picture that the wavelength is the nothing but the distance between two successive crest or successive trough. So you can see from this that as I increase the number of oscillations frequency, the number of oscillations per unit time or per unit second increases. So it is related by C equal to nu lambda. And you can see the gamma rays, X-rays, they are all used for different purposes. And okay, so you know X-ray where it is used, and the gamma ray is there in the nuclear radiations and visible light, without which we can't see. Infrared is used in so many things. Okay, infrared spectrum for identifying the vibrational spectra of various materials. Raman spectra is based on this infrared microwave stuff, and they have certain overlapping regime. And then the communication, which is the higher wavelengths actually. Okay, so you can see that what kind of frequency that we are talking about and what kind of this thing. Okay, so that's about it. Now coming to the course itself, this is the beginning level of electromagnetics, and so as I already stressed, we will be learning about the fundamental methods and how to estimate electric and magnetic fields due to different charge configuration, different current configurations respectively. We'll be learning through this course, and also we will also learn when we send a wave into a medium, if it is incident normally on a surface or if it is incident, what are the characteristics of the wave? Okay, how much does it get attenuated? How much does it? How long it propagates? What is the attenuation factor? What is the skin depth? So that depends on the interaction of the electromagnetic wave with the material through which the wave is propagating. So those things you will be learning. But previous to that, we need to understand the estimation of the electric and magnetic field. So therefore, we'll be going through this course. For ECEA and ECEB, I will be handling, and my name is Rajagopalan, as I introduced you, and Ms. Mekla, they will be handling the ECC class. So the subject textbooks, I have already put up this through the Ample I have shared. So here are the textbooks. It doesn't matter if you can't get hold of all the textbooks. I will be using several resources. Therefore, if you follow this lecture and take notes in whatever manner you want to take, because this is an online class, and you are welcome to do that, and follow the lectures religiously. You'll be learning everything. That's all I can say. The ECB people will know exactly what I mean, and so ECA, please follow the lecture notes carefully so that you can take the quizzes, assignments, everything on your own. And the first topic, of course, if I want to learn this electrostatics, magnetostatics, and time varying fields, okay, I need to have a good background on mathematics. Our first 15 lectures will review, and also you will learn some new topics, and you will learn extensively these mathematical tools. Okay, mathematics is like akin to honey, and physics is like, medicine. So if you want to administer medicine to people who are, in this case, I'm not telling you that don't take literal meaning of being a patient, but patient in the sense of comprehensive knowledge of electromagnetics. You will be learning, you will be getting that through I will be trying to infuse that knowledge using this honey in the form of mathematics. Okay, so that's what I mean it. And we'll be on different topics of mathematics. Is already there right in front of you. You are all seeing the screen. So vector algebra, coordinate system, integral calculus, differential calculus, and then divergence curl, gradient theorem, all these things. Okay. At the time of Maxwell, he did not have the advantage of using the del operator. So if you go to the original work of Maxwell's equation, it is all differential and integral calculus, very extensive, very cumbersome, tedious. But the one which we are going to use is simplified formulation in the form of del. But the essence of the electromagnetic theory, whether you go through the cumbersome original works of Maxwell or through the del operator, they are going to remain the same. And in electrostatics, we'll cover a wide range of topics like conductors, dielectrics, flux density, boundary conditions, capacitor, current and current density. We'll strike there, and then from current we'll pick up the magnetostatics, because the current carrying wire produces magnetic field. What is the strength of this magnetic field, and how do I estimate, and what are the various tools available for me, what the laws. So if I go to the fundamental law, it will be Biot-Savart law. If I use a very fantastic formulation in the form of Ampere's law, then it makes the things easier. And you will see, if I employ Cartesian coordinate system for the same problem, it will be cumbersome. if I use a different coordinate system, say spherical or cylindrical, depending on the current configuration, the formulation will be much simpler. So we will be doing that magnetic torque, magnetic flux, potential, and we talk in terms of the vector potential here and time varying fields, and then we'll end up with uniform wave, blind wave, and Maxwell's equation, or all of these things. The course objectives to make you understand about mathematical tools and circuit parameters and field parameters and wave propagation and wave medium interaction and things of that nature. We'll go through this course and just walk with me during the course and pay attention to the course. You will be all okay with that. The internal external component is what the evaluation pattern is going to be slightly different. And you have 70 marks for internal and 30 marks for external. So do not think that internal component is going to be easier. So is the case with the external component. You have to earn your grades, and I am here to teach you the subject and help you learn the subject and pay attention to this course. Okay, so I think it's all well made clear, and the learning resources, I will be sharing the PowerPoint through the PDF resources that I have been doing, and some of you have downloaded, I know that, which is good. And you come to what is known as the flipped classroom. So you come prepared what is going to be taught in the class previous to coming to the class, even if you don't understand everything. And of course, you are not expected to know everything. That is why you are here in the classroom. And now finally, I'll share these resources as and when required. The classroom engagement, I have planned like this, but there will be flexibility the way I am going to handle the class depending on the need. Okay, some topics might require greater depth, some topics may be simpler, depending on, we'll take it up. And you are always welcome to post the question through the chat window, and I will note down those questions through the chat window and take it up in the next class. Okay, so I will answer it to you in the classroom itself. And we will have a classroom activity which will be participatory. The lecture activity will be a monologue. You must have to listen to the lecture, because there is no way I can allow the lecture to be disturbed, because this lecture is very intensive. This course is really mathematics intensive. I don't want to be derailed during my lecture hour. So I'm going to give a dialogue through the classroom activity. I'm going to call upon some students and find out the ability, how much he has developed to, and if you walk with me through the course, you will develop certainly the art of problem solving, which is very much essential. For those of you who are going for higher studies, you need to develop this this logical way of attacking a problem. You take GATE or you go for MS, this electromagnetics is going to follow you. So please